Because if we've got kids going to school in the metaverse, kids get bullied anyway at school for wearing certain clothes. So if we've got kids in the metaverse that can't necessarily afford the skins, it's just going to replicate the exact same problem that we've got in mainstream schools at the moment, but contributed with people being behind the screen. And when people are behind the screen, they don't hold back. They can just go on and on. So it's like a multiplier effect in a sense.
Yeah, it can be bullying. Well, it's sort of happening now on Instagram and social media where they're not just getting bullied in school, but they're getting bullied outside of school as well because they've got constant access
Yeah,
to all
yeah.
their school friends or school bullies.
You can't go home and escape it anymore.
Yeah.
It's 24/7. And that is a huge problem that at least more awareness is coming to it. But there was this big argument during COVID lockdowns times. And it was funny because I posted on a subreddit. It's actually a VR subreddit. And I was like, is this going to help make a shift to where people start learning from home and virtual reality environments like that? And this was on a VR subreddit. So you would think that there'd be more people that were like, oh, that would be great. That's an interesting idea. I just got like destroyed. People were like, what are you thinking? It could never replace school. That's terrible and awful and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I did not expect that on a VR subreddit, maybe a normal subreddit, but it boggled my mind because this may not be as prevalent there, and this may be a rabbit hole, but like when I was a kid in school, we had earthquake drills. They would shake the desks and you'd have to get under the desk and cover the back of your spine because you were trying to be prepared for that. Now we have active shooter drills. So now all of a sudden they say, okay, there's a shooter in the school and everybody has to like hide in the corner of a room and lock the door to the classroom and like prepare for this. And I'm like, how is this reality now? But also like, if we switch to virtual schools, the bullying could be bad, but at least your life wouldn't be in danger. Like a shooter isn't going to go to each person's home one at a time and try to find it. They walk into a classroom and there's everyone there, and even the bullying itself, cyberbullying can be terrible, but there is some point where they can't physically damage your body if you're virtual. And yet everybody was like, that is the worst idea ever. How could anyone even consider doing that with schooling? It has to be in person. I'm like, does it? I don't know. I had mostly in-person school. So I had that side of it. It's hard to imagine different, but I also was very fortunate that I didn't get bullied in school. Like hardly ever. Like there was a little bit, you go through your awkward phase in some grades, but I attribute a lot of that. My mom homeschooled me for middle school, which for here is 7th and 8th grade. And then I went back in at high school. And I think missing that time was huge because a lot of people say that was the worst time of school was middle school. Everybody was awful to each other and it was terrible. And I think that made me lucky. But I think about, man, if I was someone who had to go to school every day and face these people that shoved me in lockers or gave me a swirly, like I would love for it to only be the virtual side, at least to escape that, because, and then you have these active shooter drills now too. It's like, how do you even go to school and feel comfortable and safe to learn and discuss things when you're like preparing at any moment for someone to walk in and try to kill you? That is wild.
That sounds so surreal that they have drills for active shooters.
Even in like low grades. Like there was actually just an article that came out that this one mother pulled her kid out of, gosh, was it preschool? Because she didn't feel like they should be having shooter drills at a preschool. It's
A
that's wild.
preschool.
Yeah.
Jeez. Oh, I get it from that side. There's the other side of it, which you'll probably see it in movies, or I don't know. I guess we see a lot of America through the lens of a movie. But there's the side of it where, yes, say you're getting bullied at school, and it's going on for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then you're telling your parents, and then suddenly your older brother's like, you know what you need to do? You need to go in and punch the bully or whatever. You can do that and you can stand up to a bully. Whereas online, if someone keeps hassling you and you don't have maybe the wit to come up with a good enough comeback, or you can't physically defend yourself, so you can't necessarily have the opportunity to defend yourself and stand up to the bully. So it's just going to keep going on, and then it might jeopardize. Yeah, it might be fine for their physical being, but their mental being it might be a hell of a lot worse for their mental being.
Yeah, it's a dangerous road too, because then people can use that argument and say we should be recording. what's going on so that we can check if someone reports that someone's being bullied. But then you step into privacy concerns and constantly recording kids while they're at school and changing everyone's behavior because they know they're constantly being watched. Then will they still be able to learn effectively, knowing that in the back of their mind that anything they do or say is being recorded? It's all this new frontier that we haven't had to cross as a society because it's just never existed, and we're wading through some very new waters. It's going to take time to figure out how do we do this in a way that's better, because it's just we don't have any examples to turn to.